Level 1, the $0 start. Your balance is $0, your payment is $0, your trade-off is prestige. You are sitting in a community college financial aid office, taking the path that does not require borrowing yet. The room is plain. No flashy campus tour. No ivy-covered buildings. No big welcome banner with a drone shot and a soundtrack. Just a desk, a monitor, and someone from financial aid turning the screen toward you. FAFSA is open. The award letter is sitting there in black and white. The numbers don't look exciting, but they make sense. Tuition fits on the page. The plan doesn't need a miracle. Average published tuition and fees for public 2-year in-district colleges were about $4,150 for the 2025 to 26 school year. That's still real money, but compared with leaving home, paying for housing, meal plan, and all the extras that sneak into campus life, it changes the whole deal. So you choose the local path. You commute from home, 32 minutes each way. You pay $120 for a parking pass. Gas runs about $160 a month. You pack lunch because the campus cafe isn't part of the budget. Your friends post dorm rooms, football weekends, and move-in photos that make their choice look bigger than yours. But your loan tab says $0. No $106 payment after graduation. No $390 payment. No servicer email waiting 6 months after the applause. No running tab quietly following you into your first apartment application. You pay with something else. Less campus status. Less social momentum. Less of that classic college experience people talk about like it's the only real version. The campus looks smaller. The future may be larger. At this level, the cost isn't interest. It's the feeling that a cheaper path needs to be explained. Level 2, the manageable balance. Your balance is $10,000. Your salary is $42,000. Your first adult compromise is the car you don't buy. You are a recent bachelor's graduate, holding your first real paycheck and your first real student loan bill in the same week. The job offer says $42,000 a year. And for a minute, it feels like you finally made it. You've got a badge, a manager, a calendar, health insurance, a desk that makes your life look more official than it feels. Then the grace period ends. The grace period is that 6-month window after graduation, when the bill is real but hasn't started hitting your checking account yet. It gives you just enough time to feel like you're getting ahead, before the loan servicer reminds you that the tab is open. The email lands in your inbox. Your first payment is due. You click the link, log in, and see the number sitting on your tab. Nothing about the number screams danger. That's exactly how people end up underestimating it. A $10,000 loan might create a payment around $106 a month on a standard 10-year path, depending on the interest rate. $106 doesn't sound like a life-changing number until it shows up every month on schedule before you get to decide what else your paycheck should do. And then this happens. You drive to a dealership after work. The old Honda still runs, but barely. The salesman smiles, takes your license, and shows you a used car with a payment around $370 a month. You nod like you're thinking about it, but you already know the answer. The math has already kicked in. $370 for the car, $106 for the student loan. Insurance, gas, rent, groceries. The promotion you figured adulthood would hand you suddenly turns into spreadsheet math. You don't buy the car. 2 weeks later, the old Honda needs a $780 repair. You hate paying it, of course you do. But your emergency fund still has $1,200 left because you didn't stack another payment on top of the tab. The loan is manageable. That is the trap. Manageable can still shape your choices. At this level, debt doesn't break the budget. It edits the first version of adulthood. Level 3, the average drag. Your balance is around $39,547. Your payment is $390 a month. Your life now has a fixed drag. You have been paying for a few years now, opening the loan servicer website after work without even thinking about it. You know the page: balance, due date, auto pay, interest. The tab is familiar now, and that's the strange part. A number that once would have scared you has become part of the furniture of your life. The payment is $390 a month. That's $4,680 a year. Not a debate, not a headline, cash flow. Money leaving before it becomes savings, before it becomes a trip, before it becomes a down payment, before it becomes the version of adulthood you pictured when you were signing forms years ago. You apply for an apartment. The landlord asks for income verification. Rent is $1,350 a month. The loan is $390. Together, that's $1,740 before groceries, utilities, insurance, or the car that still makes a weird sound when you turn left. The landlord doesn't reject you. That would at least make the story clean. Instead, the landlord pauses, asks for another document, mentions that another applicant has a stronger profile. You know what that means before the email arrives. You try to build an emergency fund. You move $200 into savings on Friday. On Monday, AutoPay pulls $390 out. The savings transfer still happened, but it feels smaller now. At work, you ask your manager about a raise. The manager says the company can do $2,400 more this year. You thank them, you mean it. But in your head, the math has already kicked in. Your student loan costs $4,680 a year after tax. The raise is real, the drag is larger. From every visible metric, you're doing fine. Paychecks land, bills get paid. Nothing in your file says you're falling behind. That's what makes this level so hard to explain. From the outside, everything looks functional. From the inside, every month begins with part of your future income already spoken for. This level is not about panic. It's about math. At this level, the loan stops being a student decision and becomes a housing decision, a car decision, and a savings decision. Not every ladder needs to keep climbing. For many people, the winning move is no more borrowing. No extra campus, no extra credential just to prove you're serious. It's stopping at the point where the degree still opens doors, without taking over every room behind them. A middle level can be a destination, not a failure. Sometimes the most ambitious move is knowing when the next loan isn't worth the next title. Level 4, the credential mortgage. Your balance is $100,000 plus. Your credential looks legit. Your milestones now wait in line. You finished a graduate degree with a career arc that finally looks like the brochure promised. LinkedIn looks better, your title sounds sharper. The resume finally has the line you wanted. People react differently when you tell them what you studied. Your parents say it with pride. Your coworkers say it with respect. Then you check the tab. This isn't the $106 payment from level 2. It isn't the $390 payment from level 3. Depending on the loan type, interest rate, and repayment path, the standard estimate can sit around $1,100 to $1,300 a month. That's $13,200 to $15,600 a year. You and your partner tour a wedding venue. The coordinator walks you through the room, the lighting, the guest count, the deposit. The deposit is $5,000. Everyone smiles during the tour because that's what you do. When the room is beautiful and the decision is emotional. In the car afterward, nobody says anything for 10 seconds. Then one of you opens the banking app. A few months later, you talk to a mortgage lender. The lender doesn't care that the degree looks good on paper. The lender asks about debt-to-income ratio. Basically, how much of your monthly income is already spoken for. You mention income, they mention obligations. You mention career trajectory, they mention monthly payment. The condo you liked needs a stronger down payment. Your spreadsheet shows a $25,000 gap. You try to keep investing anyway. maybe $500 a month. But some months the loan wins, some months the wedding wins, some months rent wins. The credential increase your earning power, but the repayment structure decides how quickly that earning power turns into freedom. Education clearly has value. The real question is whether the cost structure gives that value enough room to breathe. The credential opens doors. The payment decides how fast you can walk through them. At this level, debt does not erase success. It makes success negotiate with time. Level 5, the professional debt shadow. Your balance is $250,000 plus. Your income can be high. Your margin for mistakes is low. You are a doctor, lawyer, dentist, pharmacist, or another professional borrower whose education was priced like a house before you owned one. The income finally looks like the promise. On paper, this is the level people use to defend the debt. And sometimes they're right. A professional degree can create serious earning power. Real money, real opportunity, real payoff potential. Then you pull up the tab. The balance is more than $250,000. Multiple loan groups, graduate unsubsidized, grad plus, maybe private loans, accrued interest, different rates, different rules, different consequences. The tab looks less like a student loan and more like a second mortgage without a house. On a standard repayment path, the monthly estimate can land around $2,800 to $3,100. That's $33,600 to $37,200 a year. Before childcare, before mortgage, before elder care, before retirement catch-up, before the life that was supposed to begin when training ended. You talk to a refinancing officer. They offer a lower rate. The monthly payment could drop. The total interest could shift by $20,000 to $40,000 over time. The number looks tempting because it is tempting. But here's where it gets real. Refinance federal loans into private debt, and you may lose federal protections, income-driven options, deferment flexibility, or certain forgiveness pathways. Stay federal, and the rate may be higher. Pay aggressively, and your retirement account waits. Stretch repayment, and interest keeps breathing. So you call a financial advisor. They don't tell you to panic. They tell you to model scenarios. Emergency fund first, tax strategy, retirement match, insurance, repayment plan, cash reserve. The advice sounds less like student loan advice and more like running a small company where the company is your household. Your partner asks a simple question at dinner. When does this start to feel normal? You don't answer right away. Because the strange thing about level 5 is that the outside world may see success. High income, serious profession, strong title, expensive city. But inside the budget, the margin can still feel thin. The degree may have worked. The career may have worked. The tab simply learned to scale with the career. At this level, the question is no longer whether the degree was worth it. The question is whether the life around it was priced honestly. Two people can graduate on the same stage. One leaves with a diploma. The other leaves with a payment plan that follows them into apartments, car dealerships, relationships, and mortgage applications. That personal story sits inside a much larger one. Federal student aid has reported roughly $1.7 trillion in federal student loan debt across more than 42 million recipients. Numbers that big can feel almost fake. So bring it back down to the part you can actually touch, the monthly tab. At level 1, you sat in a community college financial aid office and looked at a path with a $0 payment. The trade-off was prestige. At level 3, the tab said $390 a month. Not dramatic enough to sound impossible. Large enough to change the apartment, the savings account, the car, and the raise. At level 5, the tab can hit $3,000 a month. The degree has become part of the household operating system itself. The diploma stayed on the wall. The tab kept running. So this week, do one thing before the next school choice. Next graduate program, next refinance offer, or next repayment plan. Pull up your actual tab or the net price calculator. Write down 4 numbers: balance, interest rate, monthly payment, and payoff date. Then put that monthly payment next to rent, first year salary, car insurance, and one life goal you don't want to postpone. Don't ask only, can I get in? Ask, what does this payment make me postpone? A degree should open doors, not quietly rent them back to you.